had a woman that had her thyroid removed, surgically removed, and I know this is difficult even for me to accept, and grew a new thyroid back. We have the medical evidence for that. So I don't know any longer what the limit is. I think there's something really cool happening in the world when people believe in themselves.
I started to follow Dr. Джо Ντισπένζа back in about 2018. And then I believe in 2019, I watched his show Rewired. And it was quite interesting because around that time that I watched Rewired, I started to suffer with having shakes and feeling like I was getting ready to have a heart attack. And I didn't know what was going on with my body until one day I came home and my body like shut down. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything. So I was rushed to the hospital, and then I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. That's when your thyroid is not making enough of a certain hormone, and it causes your thyroid to basically not work as effectively as it needs to. They say that your body's immune system is attacking itself. You have an autoimmune disease. And so I remembered from, just what Dr. Джо Ντισπένζα taught, that we can go into the infinite field in order to heal our bodies, in order to have the life that we really wanted. And so for the longest while, even though I knew this, I couldn't get a hold of my fear. The fear was I had to have surgery. They were saying I had to have surgery to have my thyroid removed because if I didn't, then it would cause long-term problems with my heart. And I didn't want to have the surgery. I wanted to heal myself, but I couldn't get over the fear of feeling like I wouldn't get better. And I remember where I couldn't even control my smile. I couldn't control my face. I felt so terrible. But I remembered, like I kept playing Rewired over and over again. And I decided to move outside of my fear. I started to slowly do meditations and reconnect with that infinite field. And then I surrendered. I surrendered to having the surgery. But with the caveat, I asked God that if I'm going to have the surgery, then to allow my thyroid to grow back. And connecting with that infinite field and holding my hand to my throat every day, I imagined that I was talking to the soul of my thyroid, that I was calling my thyroid forth. And so after I had the surgery, my endocrinologist said, your numbers are still high, and she lowered my dose of my medication. And she had to keep lowering the dose because every time I came back every 2 weeks, my thyroid numbers were still really high and she couldn't explain it. So she sent me back to the surgeon because she was like, something's going on. I don't know what it is, but your thyroid numbers are not going down. So I go back to the surgeon, and the surgeon is assuming that the doctor did something wrong, and he does the ultrasound and he puts it up to my throat, and he turns pale white. Like he's a darker skinned Indian doctor, and he turns pale white and he drops the handle in my lap and he runs out the room. He comes back ashen and he's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but not only has your thyroid grown back, and he said, I've seen that maybe twice in my 37 years of practicing, but he said it works, like it's producing hormone. And he said, I've never seen that. Like that is quote unquote impossible. And he's like, I don't know how to explain it. Here are the x-rays of your thyroid after it was completely removed. Like it's completely gone. And now here's your thyroid back again. And this happened within 2 months. 2 months of going into that infinite space. 2 months of learning how to be able to control my life and control my body. And so I decided that I was going to go to Dr. Джо Ντισπένζa's seminar back in October of 2020. I had to see him in person and take my spirituality to another level. At that time, I had just left my corporate job. I was working in pharmaceutical sales. It no longer served me. And a pandemic hit when I left my job. And I started to launch my business. And there was a lot of things that were going wrong. And I wasn't able to be profitable the way I really knew that I could. After leaving Dr. Джо Ντισπένζa's seminar, my business started to exponentially improve. My income increased at least tenfold. So I hope this inspires somebody else to step into the unknown, to listen to the teachings of Dr. Dispenza, and to have the life that they dream of having.